Hey guys, what's up? So, in this lesson, I'll teach you how to comprehend the passage, how to understand the nuances and subtleties which the author is trying to convey, how to read between the lines, what to ignore, what to not ignore, and eventually arrive at the right conclusion as the author wants you to, so that you can get the good marks in the RC. So most commonly, let's say there is a essay on biology or there is an RC on biology. So if you are a doctor, then you will think outside the box also. You will start to connect with your pre-existing knowledge base, which can be detrimental. You will take assumptions which are not valid. So the first point is, the most important point is, restrict yourself to the information provided in the passage, which may be either stated or implied. Okay, do not extrapolate it to the outer world. Just consider that as a closed universe. Do not take assumptions which are not implied or neither stated. Then again, like, the answers cannot be based on the premises of the provided information. For example, the essay is saying that the population of India is 121 crore, but you know that the population of India is 126 crore as of today. But then if it asks in the question what is the answer, then you have to mark 121 crore, because answers cannot go outside the provided information. Or for example, you know that India's GDP is around 3 to 4 trillion dollar, but essay is, let's say, 20 years old, and it's talk about that India's GDP is $1.5 trillion. In that case, you have to mark 1.5 trillion. You can't go outside the premises of the provided information. Then there are a lot of keywords which are taking the extreme position. So these extreme positions are usually wrong. Keywords like always, every, only, no, never, must, all, have to, they're all traps. So since they indicate traps, so they avoid taking extreme position at all cost. And do not do blanket generalization of any issue or situation, because it indicates extreme position. Okay, so do not do like generalization that do not stereotype that XYZ community is hostile or XYZ community is very peace loving or something like that. So if the option is having always, every, only, no, never, must, all, usually it is wrong. Usually, again I am saying, the sun always rise in the east is right. Okay, every person who is born will die, that is right, but usually they are wrong. Then be an active reader. What do you mean by active reader? Active reader means somebody who is focusing while reading the passage. They are just not doing it passively. That means that you have to concentrate very hard to avoid any distraction or diversion of thoughts. You have to be like, try to read it in pin drop silence. Use earplugs if possible, if it is allowed. Don't focus on external noise. Then focus on emphasizing words like only, each, in particular, in fact, specifically. Focus on these words, because the author is trying to emphasize that this is what I really like. So please see that. And try to understand the meaning of different words, phrases and expressions. You can underline if it is possible, but if you are using online, then you can, it's perfectly fine if you can't do that also. So there is a difference between students and girls. For example, they say there were 35 girls in the class, but they are not saying there are 35 students in the class, because they includes boys also, right? So you have to read carefully in between the line. A person versus people is different, then people of India versus people of the world is different. So you have to read between the lines very carefully. Then precise and thorough understanding of the given passage will help to better connect the ideas and evaluate the given information and reach to the actual conclusion, which is the answer. Because if you do not understand the passage in one go, you will not be able to connect the various paragraphs or various themes or various ideas of the passage. You will not be able to evaluate the given information correctly. You will not be able to reach to the right conclusion. Then learn to differentiate between the possibility and certainty as per the given information. For example, sun rising in the east is a certainty, it is not a possibility. But India might win the next World Cup, that is a possibility, not certainty. So you have to learn to differentiate between them. Then if you want, like, it is a trick or a hack, that just go through the questions very fast, like 10 seconds or 30 seconds max. So quick glimpse of the questions before reading the passage is always a good idea. So you will know that which are the portion from which the questions are being asked, so that you can read them more carefully. Then circle or underline the keywords in a sentence if it is possible. Otherwise it is perfectly fine if you are doing online. And go back to it, reread it later. And in certain questions which have close options, eliminating the wrong option will get you the right answers. Okay, for example, height of the pole is, like, in that case there are, you know that it is a square of 20, so the answer cannot be less than 400. Are you getting it? If the square is of 25, the answer cannot be less than 625. If the square is of 23, then answer again will lie between 400 to 625. So you can eliminate the wrong options. Then before you attempt RC, you have to expand your vocabulary. So I have made a separate course for how to improve your vocabulary in 30 days. Do watch that. To answer vocabulary based question, one is that, and to second is to understand the passage and answer the inference and conclusion based questions. So during the practice, when I am teaching you certain exercises in vocabulary, mark the words which you don't know, try to find their meaning, and good vocabulary will definitely increase your understanding of the author's intent. Okay, thank you for watching this lesson.